If you go outside your house, you might see people wearing a mask covering their nose and their mouth. These masks might look scary, but they're for your protection. The CDC recommends that everyone wear a mask to help to prevent the spread of COVID-19. But how exactly does the material on this mask do that? And why is it that some materials are better and safer than others? My name is Jolie, and I'm with the Science Center of Iowa. My friend Shane and I have been working on a way to better understand how mask materials are able to filter the air that we breathe. Hi, Shane.
Hey, Jolie.
Here are some of the materials that we have put together to better understand how a filter is able to work. Paper towel, tissue paper, pipe cleaners, a skewer, and some cotton balls. Are you ready, Shane?
Thanks, Jolie. Sweet delivery. I've been thinking a lot about masks too, and I learned an awful lot. The type of material used absolutely matters. I've set up an experiment here in my office, okay, and I just have a window here on the side, and we're going to use the light from that window to kind of illustrate any gaps that we might have in some of the fabrics that we choose. So I'm going to start with, I just have a regular cotton bandana, and if we hold that up to the window, you can see that lets a significant amount of light through, okay, and you can imagine all that light getting through, that's passages, that's holes through the fabric where particles would be able to get through. Here I have, this is like a polyester, like a stretchy, I think you're supposed to put this around like your neck in the summer and soak it to keep you cool. And that lets through, you can see a lot of light too. And now I'm going to grab just a regular cotton t-shirt, and hold that up. And you can see we're still letting some light through, right? But we're getting better. And you can see the CDC has a plan to make a mask using just a cotton t-shirt. And you can see when we start to double things up, then we really start to get some blockage. Okay? And then I have just a flannel shirt here, and I call this one Old Green. Flannel is a good cotton material. Okay? And you can see we hold up Old Green to the window there, and it looks like we're blocking quite a bit of light. All right? I first started thinking about face masks as screens, like on my window here. Anything bigger than the screen can't get through, anything smaller can. But then I looked at all the dust on the floors of my house and realized that a screen still lets a ton of stuff through. I learned through my research that my original idea of a face mask as a screen is really not correct. Really, what's a better analogy would be to think of a face mask as a really curvy street. Because if we think of those airborne particles as cars streaming down the road, they want to get into your head, they want to get in your nasal cavity, okay? If you think of those things as speeding cars, good way to slow those down is to put curves in the road. So if I grab those pipe cleaners Jolie sent me, if I grab those and you think of these as your fibers in your mask, if these wind around each other and tangle each other, it's going to be really hard for any type of airborne particle to traverse this tangled mess of fibers. So I'm going to take what I learned and take the supplies Jolie sent me, and I'm going to try to make my own filter using some of the principles from my research. So I'm going to take this skewer here. I have a couple more, okay, and I'm going to transform them. I broke them in half, took the sticky or the pointy part off of it, and I'm going to put these together to build a frame. So you can imagine a square frame that we're going to build our filter into. So that'll be my first step. So I've got my frame here, okay, and you can use wooden skewers. I use them because that's what Jolie sent me. You could use popsicle sticks, you could use wooden spoons from your kitchen, you could use rulers, literally anything that you could tape together or glue together and make a square or a triangle or any shape. All right, and we're just going to grab some of the materials that Jolie sent me. I have my cotton balls here. I have my pipe cleaners, okay? And I want to remember all that I learned. I want to combine materials. I want to think about those tangled fibers as much as I can combine and tangle. And remember, we still got to be able to breathe through this thing. So I'm going to pick two of the things here. I have paper towel, tissue paper, cotton balls, pipe cleaners. I'm going to pick two of the materials, combine them in my frame, build my mask, and then we're going to talk about how we're going to test this thing. Okay, I have my filter. You ready to see it? Whoosh. Pretty sweet, right? So I literally just took my skewers, built my frame, took some of my cotton balls, spread those fibers out, and I took my pipe cleaners and I took all that I learned and I combined it. I made my windy fibers, and now I need to test this. All right. And I'm just going to set up a very simple experiment. All right. My airborne particles are going to be black pepper, because that's what I have in my house. Maybe you have some smaller things. I thought about glitter, but then I thought not to do glitter, which is usually what I think about right after I think about doing glitter. So we're going to use black pepper. I'm going to go down to my kitchen and we're going to run this experiment. Okay, so it's time to run our experiment. So I've moved down to the kitchen, all right, and I have a box here on my table just to catch any pepper that my filter doesn't grab, all right. Here is my filter, okay, you can see that. I'm going to hold it about 6 inches away from my box, all right. Now, I have some black pepper here, do you see that? It says 1 tablespoon, it's a little bit less. It's not so important how much pepper you start with, it's just that you know how much you start with and how much you end with. All right, so I'm going to just go ahead and kind of shake my pepper over my filter here. And I just made a huge mess. But I'm interested in kind of what on my filter is grabbing the pepper and what isn't. So we shake that off, and I'm trying not to sneeze here. Okay, so there's our filter. If you see, we caught quite a bit of the pepper. Quite a bit got through, but we learned a lot. Did I build a great face mask filter? Probably not. But that wasn't my goal today. My goal was to investigate different materials used in building face masks, and I learned an awful lot about that. And I learned that my screen analogy was no good, all right? And we need to remember that curvy, tangled mess, okay, that makes everything difficult to get through. And that's the key. That's the point that makes a safe mask that is tough for those tiny little particles to get through, that we can still breathe through. So then when my Aunt Linda sends me a mask, all right, she's combined 2 materials, just like we did in our activity. We knew we needed to combine 2 materials. We have a woven cotton fabric here, and then we have my favorite 3 little pigs flannel lining on the inside. And we know that when we combine those 2 materials, we've made a safe mask that we can breathe through, and it's going to block a large amount of those small airborne particles for us.